what's up? I don't know about y'all. Are y'all not getting tired of these podcasts where it'd be like a it's like either one or two or three. It could be three. It's always more women than men, right? And it'd be like three, let's say three men and like seven women, right? And they're just on the panel trying to tell women how dumb they are. Now I'm not. That's not what my gripe is, right? I'm just getting so tired. It's like every single one of these things. I guess Fresh and Fit started it. Now I don't even know their name. All ones I know is Fresh and Fit. But it's like, what's the end game with all this really? Like, what is the end game? What is the purpose of doing that, right? Because the women ain't learning from it. Whether it's the women on the show or whether it's the women out in the world, they're not learning from it at all. You know what I mean? And this is what I want to say. I think, well, let me say this first. I think really what it is men just want to get on and they just want to chastise women or whatever because maybe they know that this is their platform. If they get rowdy, they can just kick them out. Probably because they can't do it in real life. Like if they out somewhere and a woman gets disrespectful with them, they know they can't really get buck with them because either they scared or some dude will come up out of nowhere and be white knighting, white knighting and protecting them. Now they got to fight the dude. They know in their studio it's a controlled environment. It's usually their house or some storage facility they own or something like that. And I guess I don't know what I got, a bunch of shit in my. So it's a controlled environment. But this is what I really want to talk about. Bouncing off of that. The war between man and woman will go on forever. There's no amount of podcasting. There's no amount of talking. There's no amount of book writing. There's no amount of I just want to understand where you're coming from. Listen, this is really what it is. See, men and women, this is what I believe. Men and women at the core, deep down, maybe not too deep, but I think men and women really hate each other. You know what I mean? We need each other for, to procreate and stuff like that. But we have such different roles in we'll just take America. I'm American, so if you're American, I don't know how they operate in Germany or Zimbabwe or China, but we have different roles in our respective societies wherever you are in the world, right? Typically the man is the breadwinner. Typically the woman, even though women can work and stuff, there's way more jobs for women now. Hell, women are truck drivers. Women own fleets of trucks. Women own businesses, all that type of stuff. But typically it's the man is to get out and work. The woman is to either stay home and take care of the kids or work part-time and be like a homemaker, make the food, make the lunch for the man, for the husband, stuff like that, get the kids ready for school, stuff like that. There's always going to be a barrier between men and women. Always. Because there's barriers between men and men. You see what I mean? I've said this in a video I made a long time ago, where women want equality, but they don't know what kind of man do you want to be equal to? Well, obviously that would be a white man in this society in America, because if you're a black woman, you wouldn't really be equal to a black man because black men get treated pretty bad in society. At least with a black woman, you would be able to use especially with male authority figures, you would be able to use your feminine ways and your looks, and the fact that you got a vagina to get you out of trouble. Man, they can't do that. Even if it was a female authority figure, you could cry, she could empathize with you. So you might get some of them hard ass motherfuckers that's like, oh girl, don't be up in here crying, I don't want to hear that shit. You just doing that shit because you think I'm gonna take it easy on you. There's a few of them. For the most part, they'll empathize with you. Man, ain't nobody a man gonna go, nope, you fucked up. Now you're going to jail for 39 years for stealing a pack of bubble gum or some shit like that. And a woman, she definitely gonna want to come down hard on you Because you're a man, and she might be one of them feminist motherfuckers that men have always had it easy. You going to jail for life for jaywalking or some shit like that. So men and women are always going to be at odds because we have different roles, and there's really no such way we can understand each other. You can have some tidbits back and forth. Oh, this is why y'all do this. Oh, this is why y'all do this. Oh, but at the end of it, it's just as moot as a man explaining to his daughter, maybe the mother died or the mother left or whatever. It's just as insignificant as explaining as a man explaining to a little girl, this is what your period is about. This is what it's going to feel like. And this is what you need to get through it. And this is how it's going to feel. You can't really, there's nothing that you can say. There's nothing that you can say. There's nothing that you can, it's all bullshit. There's nothing that you can say to that child, because you can say all the shit. You can read a book, but you ain't a woman. Men and women have hated each other for years. And we will continue to hate each other, and I think the hatred is just what each people can get away with, or what each side can get away with in society. Women are always going to hate us for the fact that we can fuck every woman and not be considered a whore. They can't do that. We'll always hate women for being able to have the ability to take custody, at least in this country, and countries, in respective countries, maybe in the West, Western society or whatever, that when we have children with them and we marry them, that's beneficial to them. When men can get the children, they can take our children away, and we could be resulted to being a weekend parent. You know what I mean? We could be nothing more than let's go over dad. My children, I don't have any children, but I'm saying if I had children, I would only be able to see them on the weekend or every other weekend. So now we got to do double work when we get our children back, because the mother ain't gonna tell them what she said and what she erased from their program, and now when you get them again, you have to retrain them. I thought I told you that, well, mama said, oh shit, because you only see them once a month, So, like I said, there's always gonna be, marriage too. When you marry a woman, there's always an escape route. If it like the saying, it's cheaper to keep her. That's a saying men came up with, because it's easier to work out your problems and just continue being married. Like, damn, what was I thinking? I married this girl. She was fine. She was great and all this. And then all of a sudden she just flipped. It just don't make no sense to divorce. I'm gonna be asked out, So it's better to work through the problems, and maybe I can have an old flame for her again, though I'm not really that attracted to her anymore. But I'm not about to give her half of my shit. I'm not finna give her the house. I'm not finna let her take the kids. I'm not finna give her half of my investments and my 401k and my job and all this shit. She's not gonna get that just because she was with me. If we split, I'm not gonna say don't get anything, but I'm not gonna just give you half of shit and continue to keep supporting you because we're not together anymore. I'm not doing that, So there's always gonna be a barrier between us, and I don't think there's any amount of ways. I don't think there's any way that we can understand each other, because we're not meant to really be understood. I believe that the problems that we're going through, we've been going through for years, and we'll always. Somebody that I watch on YouTube named Timothy Ward, he says the problems that humanity has, we'll always have them, because we've always had them, and we'll always have them. He's basically saying, if we ain't figured this out yet, we'll never figure it out, So I think the problems with relationships, I think somebody capitalized a long time ago off of the confusion and the want to, because you got to think about it. When did the relationships and shit come about? When did marriage and all that come about? Not in the Bible, because the marriage in the Bible talked about two people becoming one. It didn't say anything about, now, if you leave, then she gets half your shit. They don't say, it's just talking about two people uniting and becoming one, even though two people can never become one when there's a barrier of the mind. The mind is what's keeping two people. Two people can never become one because, like I said, you have your own mind and thoughts. They have their own mind and thoughts. So two people can never merge and become one just based off of that. Well, where did all this, relationships and Valentine's Day, you got to get your girl something, you got to get your mama something. The men don't get shit, or if you do get them some socks or some shit. Get them another tie. You can never have a shortage of ties. Motherfucker got 137 ties, but you never know. Like, where did all that come from? Somebody realized that we can capitalize off of this and turn this into some whole other shit. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling how relationships worked back when we was primitive. You know what I mean? Maybe it was like, I like you, Oonga Boonga. I like you because you let me put this and that. But I like her too. And maybe Oonga Boonga was like, yeah, all right, cool. But when did that become like, nah, you cheating on me? You stepping out on me? You fucked my man? When did all that really become about? You know what I mean? I think the reason we have so much strife and struggle with trying to understand each other is because we're doing shit that we're really not supposed to be doing. We're doing shit we're really not supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be. Now, am I saying we should just run wild and just fuck everybody every day? No, but I don't think that we're supposed to be monogamous like the way we are. It just don't seem natural to me. It just doesn't seem like it seem like it's very forced. Because like I said, somebody capitalized off of the fact that there's more money in it. Because think about what holidays could you have if it was basically like a free for all every time. I don't know. I guess the sale of condoms would go up. Maybe, I don't know. That's considering. You know what I'm saying? That's I don't know. It might not. Maybe not. But I don't know. I just don't think I think. And then you might say, well, okay, if you say that, then how are children going to have a good upbringing if they don't have both their parents in the home and stuff like that? I don't know. I mean, there's people who are raised in two-parent households, and they don't have there's a lot of children who've been raised in two-parent households that didn't have a good experience because they saw their parents fighting and shit all the time. Abuse and all kind of stuff, because we have a thing of where when you get married, you get married and you stay married. No matter what you're going through, no matter what your kids see and all that, it don't matter. You stay married, I don't know. I think in a marriage that you should try to work it out. But there is going to come a point where where working something out is only going to be to the point of how much the other person wants to work it. You could be trying like a mother, but if the woman if she just doing the bare minimum, or if the man is just doing, well, we'll just keep it like this. If the woman is doing bare minimum, of course she gonna be like, motherfucker, just divorce me so I can get this bread. Damn, so I can be away from you, fuck somebody else. But then you're gonna have these hoes on YouTube whining and crying that I shouldn't have divorced my husband. It's like, I don't know. All I know is, to wrap it up, men and women, we're never really going to get along, in my opinion. We're just never going to get along. It just doesn't, I don't think there's going to be a day where we just all wake up and just, and I love men, I love women. The women who say they love men, they're talking about their daddy, their brother, their cousin. Same way when men say they love women, they're talking about their mama, their sister, their cousins, their grandma, shit like that. Everything else we talk about, you love the other sex. You just talking about you love lusting after them, but you don't have an admiration for them, because we're both just trying to understand that everybody in life is going to use you. All these little relationships in the meantime, they're like building up to something. So he cheated on me. He was just using you as an experience anyway. Most people just use somebody else as an experience, like. Dudes may never slept with a fat chick. I ain't gonna lie, I want to sleep with a fat bitch. I want to sleep with a midget. I want to sleep with a white chick. I want to sleep with a white. Everybody's just using each other to build as much experience as they can, so we can. So hopefully, maybe one day you could find somebody to be with or whatever, that you can have all these experiences. That way, they don't make you not want to cheat because you done sold your wild oats and all that. But I don't know. I just think that men and women, there's a small sliver of hatred there. It's not gonna go away. There's nothing we can do to really fix it. I think instead of worrying, I don't know, and I think to wrap it up for real this time, I think if we just focus more on the person we're with instead of trying to be like somebody else you see on TikTok or IG, that will go a long way. Because when people talk about the relationships of the days of old, they didn't have a template to use. Maybe their parents, yeah, but there was no way for them to look at their neighbor and see and I doubt that they would ask. Maybe they would ask, like, what do I do? We'll just buy her some flowers, shit, or I don't know, get her some candy or some shit. But they didn't have like little challenges and little, what I mean by challenge, I mean like TikTok challenges and stuff like that. They didn't have all that stuff. They didn't have all that, like, oh, here's relationship goals. We're frolicking on the beach. They didn't have that. So they were forced to, this is the person that I'm with. How do I learn this person and treat this person? How do I love this person? A lot of people say they want to be loved, but that's exactly what it is. They want to be loved. They don't want to love anybody. They want to receive love, but they don't want to learn the person they're with and give love to them, how they want to be loved. A lot of us, what we do when we get with somebody is just we just resort back to my first girlfriend, my first boyfriend, and like a little black book. Well, when especially women do this. Well, when my first boyfriend was upset, this is what I did, and bam, that made everything better. So you're not learning what this other person wants, So I think that's more of a feasible thing we can do. But men and women, we're always gonna be at odds, always. And I'm sick and tired of these goddamn podcasts where dudes just sitting up there trying to tell bitches that they stupid, and then they kicking the bitches out when they reply or some shit like that. That's just getting so old to me, man. That's getting so old. Just cookie cutter, copy and paste bullshit. But anyway, let me know what y'all think.